and this is Sarah Yoga. So today we have a nice, easy, gentle yoga class for irritability. So if you're feeling irritated, angry, or even just a little uneasy, grab your mat, throw on some comfy clothes. It's hot here, so throwing on something simple and easy, nothing fancy. And we'll start to move the body, sort of clear out this energy that we might be carrying. Very restorative today, so nice and calming and gentle. And as always, if you want any extra yoga this week, I always offer free live classes every Wednesday and Sunday. To sign up for those, visit me at sarahyoga.co or follow me on my Instagram page. All right, so let's kind of release some of that energy and get right onto our mat and jump into our practice. So today we're going to start on our back. So take your time, come around, and make your way onto your back. So giving yourself that moment just to release here and start to find your breath. So you can either keep your knees bent and let the knees drop in towards the center of the mat to feel that nice, long, low back connecting down to the ground. Right? Or if you want to just find a traditional shavasana and lengthen out the legs, you can do that. And so really just giving yourself this time for yourself, whatever might be going on. Maybe the irritability comes from tension or stress, or maybe even actual physical pain in the body. So starting here to bring your awareness internally into the body and just notice your breath, right? You don't have to change or fix or alter the breath in any way, but simply observing it as it is, coming in and out, either through the nose or the mouth. And starting first to feel it rising into the chest and the lungs. Feeling the heart center and the collarbones opening up. And then across the back body, maybe releasing here through the shoulder blades, the back of those muscles across the neck, through the weight of the head, the jaw, the face. Just a little brief body scan, continuing to observe that really easy, effortless breath as it travels down, causing the diaphragm to move up and down, feeling the belly as an effect rise up and down. Just feeling it rise on the inhale and then letting it fall back down towards earth on the exhale. It's more feeling that connection of the back body to the ground, releasing through the back of the kidneys, releasing through the low back and the back of the waist, the tailbone. And again, just really letting your breath be nice and easy. You're more so being an observer here as you watch the breath moving in and then moving out. So trusting in the breath and the body to settle the mind, restore, heal. So all of these shapes that we move through in yoga, the shapes themselves are really providing the nutrients, the stretch, and the benefit. So just allowing yourself today to back off as much as you can, kind of taking some of the effort away and finding the stillness and the softness in these poses, shapes, and moments in our practice. And coming back to the breath here, just really releasing And really giving yourself this time. Again, if your mind wanders off somewhere, it's totally normal. Just let that be an observation that you're making. And then gently see if you could come back into the present moment, back into your body as it feels in this moment. And we'll start to bring our focus back onto the breath. And just maybe noticing here how when we're on our back, it's easier to feel that full body breath. It's easier to feel the ease of the breath flowing and moving down into the low belly and the low back. And so moving with the least amount of effort here, we're just going to start to walk the feet in and start to pull those knees in. Just a really gentle hug in, slight compression across the tops of the thighs and the lower belly. And then exhale, let the knees fall away from you, extending the arms out. We'll do that again. Inhale, compressing, pulling the knees in, keeping the bottoms of the feet soft, the mask of the face soft. Exhale, extend. And last time, inhale, let those knees pull in. And kind of like a happy baby, you're going to start to pull the knees wide as if you're reaching them towards your outer shoulders. So you can stay here just hanging onto the knees. If you would like, you can open it up to a softer happy baby, maybe grabbing the shins, the ankles, or if you want to go for the full thing, you can reach for the bottoms of the feet and just pause. Give your body again a moment to absorb the shape that you're asking it to come into. And then where do you feel that stretch the most? How is this affecting the breath? Maybe soften the jaw, the face. Let's take one more inhale. On your exhale, if you have the feet, you might just bring the feet to touch for a moment, reaching for the outer edges of the feet and pulling the knees away. Getting more into the inner thighs, the inner groin. And again, just feel your breath here, your natural breath, expanding or finding that movement down into the low belly, the low back. And then what can you soften? The jaw, the shoulders. And then when you're ready, just let that go, help your knees back together. We're going to take a nice easy twist. Knees to the left, right arm peels open to the right. A few rounds of breath here. You might look to the right or keep your gaze straight up towards the sky. Just let the feet soften. Maybe letting go of one more thing here. What else can you release into the ground? Leaning into these points of contact that you are making with the ground. Check in the back of the throat and the jaw. And then we'll take ourselves on our inhale and we'll climb all the way back up. You might need to set your feet down for a moment and adjust your hips, bringing the hips back to neutral. We'll pull the knees in, this time on your exhale, taking the knees off to the right. Left arm peels open. Maybe look to the left or just keep your gaze straight up towards the sky. Come back to your breath, right? Really feeling this left side body, the left rib cage, the left lower belly. And then we'll exhale, release. We're gonna stay with the knees on the right here and just pull that left arm in and roll all the way over to the right and start to take a really gentle climb up. And we're just gonna shift and come right around into child's pose. So knees wide, big toes together, let those hips sink down and back forehead touches down. And so if the forehead does not touch down, right, you can always grab a pillow or anything you have at home and slide it under the forehead. Just to feel that contact, that grounding down through the front part of the face. And especially here, the front part of the brain, kind of calming that worry, amygdala, that thinking, the prefrontal cortex down in the brain. And so sometimes it's necessary to linger in these shapes a little bit longer, especially these inward turning forward folds like our child's pose. Really surrendering, releasing the weight of the heart center down to the ground. Notice where you feel these pockets opening up, where there might be more space for the breath to pour into, maybe the low back, or the back of your kidneys across the bottom edge of the ribs. And breathing or feeding that space in between the shoulder blades, all the way up into the back of the neck and the throat. And we'll start to find the breath again here. Maybe just let go of the jaw and the face one last time. And then on your inhale, nice and slow, let's climb ourselves up. We're going to walk those knees underneath the hips and start to find our cat-cow. Inhale, rolling open again, just moving nice and slow today, kind of like you're moving in slow motion. Exhale and round. Let's go again. Deep breath in. And exhale, round. And one more. Deep breath in. Exhale, round. Take your time, just crawl up into sort of a soft downward dog. Just one downward dog here. As we come up, you can pedal out the legs, maybe drop through the head. Maybe find some extension here out through the arms. Come back to your breath. Take a nice big inhale. And then on your exhale, release. Start to pull forward into a modified plank. We're going to bring the knees down. Scoop the navel in. And then nice and slow, lower yourself all the way down to the belly. Walk your hands off of the mat. And on your inhale, lengthen through the legs, point through the top of the toes, and roll open through the heart. And then while you're up here, just a few little undulations, little circles rolling out through the chest. And then eventually we're going to come all the way back down. Walk your hands underneath the shoulders. Climb back up. Walk your knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Take a nice big breath and extend that right leg up. And then nice and slow, exhale, knee to nose, almost like cat-cow rounding. Inhale, take it all the way back up. And then exhale, just set it down. Take your time with the breath. Inhale, that left leg's gonna go up. Exhale and round. Inhale, take it all the way back up. And exhale, bring that knee down. Let's take a nice slow cat-cow. Inhale, roll open. And exhale and round. Let your round take you all the way back into child's pose. And just landing here for a moment. And just kind of surrendering again. Surrender, surrender, release, release. We're going to take this child's pose up and over to the left. Crawl yourself up and over to the left and sink right back down. You can take your right fingertips and just kind of walk them out long so you get a nice deep stretch into that right side body. And then come up. Let's go up and over to the right. Sink yourself back down. And then inhale, rising up. We're going to make our way into a seat, so coming up and over. Finding your way to a seat, bring the bottoms of the feet together in front of you. Take the knees out to the side, grab hold of the ankles, take a nice big breath in, and then exhale, fold Baddha Konasana in the legs. And so just really taking your time here, releasing, letting the spine round in this one, letting go of the back of the neck and the jaw. And like a ragdoll, let's roll all the way up. So we're going to take this right down into our Shavasana. A couple of options, right? You can just take an easy Shavasana, or, right, you might grab sometimes a pillow, or if you have one of those yoga blocks, and send it either underneath the heart center or underneath the tailbone. So I'm going to bring mine underneath the tailbone today, coming down onto the back. I kind of feel for myself that the front of the hips are a little tight, so we're going to release that here in our Shavasana. And if you don't have a pillow or a block, you can always take your mat and roll it up so you have just a little bit of height there underneath the tailbone. I'm taking my legs out straight for this today. And again, if you feel more tight in the upper back, you might send that rolled mat or your pillow or block underneath the shoulder blades. And so we'll just land here. We're just kind of observing now. It's just that tiniest little bit of movement, some focused breath. And what is the state of the body and the mind right now? And maybe it hasn't changed a whole lot, but finding these little tiny shifts. And every day as we come back to our practice and give ourselves just these brief moments to check in with the body and with the mind, we grow a little bit from the practice. We gain a little more perspective about our own body and the way in which we think or calculate the world. And there's no right or wrong observation. Kind of being a neutral observer. And so just once more, coming back to that easy breath, watching the inhale float in, watching the exhale float back out. And so if this feels really good, you might give yourself some more time here. If you have just more time to spend on yourself, you might take this to a legs up the wall. All just options. If you're ready to move on and you kind of feel that you got what you needed, just gently start to make your way, if you're on a prop or a rolled mat, off of that prop. And we'll begin to bring ourselves up into a final seat. So just an example that your practice doesn't have to be something super fancy. You don't need fancy clothes, you can do it in your pajamas, you don't need a fancy expensive mat. And you don't need those fancy props, right? You can, for the most part, make do with what you have at home. And the same goes for the body, the mind, kind of surrendering this need to constantly acquire, constantly finish, or get done all these things off of your list. Just kind of appreciating the body's functionality as it is. And from that space you can grow or change, but at first we need to come to an understanding of where we are. And so from here, we'll start to bring the hands together at the heart if you've chose to come and meet me in a seat. And feel the spacious quality across the chest and the heart center. Maybe releasing here one last time the jaw, the shoulders, and the lower belly. And together, we'll take a nice big breath in, fill up. Open mouth, let it go. So I thank you so much for joining me today on XSarah Yoga, and we'll see you next time. Namaste.